Tonight on CTV News at 6, guilty in the deaths of 2 Edmonton police officers. A rare conviction for helping a killer.
I wasn't expecting the manslaughter. I was maybe expecting criminal negligence causing death, but I was not expecting a manslaughter conviction.
I remain incredibly anxious, frankly, about this.
Alberta's separatism overshadows all other issues at the Western Premier's meeting.
Why don't we hold off on this referendum talk for a year or two and see if we get these pipelines under construction?
And the Edmonton attraction that could be lost when the high-level bridge is replaced.
We see it go by here all the time, and the conductor waves, and everybody's so happy, and, you know, that's a unique thing.
The heat goes on. Daytime highs near 30 right through the rest of the week.
CTV Edmonton, local breaking news with Jeff Hastings.
Good evening. The man who sold a semi-automatic rifle later used to shoot and kill 2 Edmonton police officers has been found guilty of manslaughter. As Amanda Anderson reports, it's a conviction rarely seen in Canada.
The impact it has had on our organization cannot be understated.
Emotions ran high inside an Edmonton courtroom as family and colleagues of 2 police officers killed in the line of duty heard the verdict. Many cried as the justice found Dennis Okimau guilty of 17 charges, including manslaughter, criminal negligence causing death, and criminal negligence causing bodily harm. The court heard Okimau sold this semi-automatic German sports gun, 80 rounds of ammunition, and drugs to a 16-year-old with a history of mental illness.
The investigation was not an easy task, but the dedication of our members and partners never wavered, which is evident in their innovative and meticulous approach to arresting and laying charges.
The teen used the gun to ambush police who responded to a domestic call at his family's apartment. He killed Constable Travis Jordan and Constable Brett Ryan. The teen also shot his mother, then killed himself. Before that day, the teen used the same gun to shoot an employee at this pizza shop.
When the charges got laid, I was curious as to how it was going to turn out.
Criminologist and former EPS inspector Dan Jones was surprised by the guilty verdict.
I wasn't expecting the manslaughter. I was maybe expecting criminal negligence causing death, but I was not expecting a manslaughter conviction.
He says it's rare. The last time he can recall a similar conviction was around 2009 when 2 men were convicted of manslaughter for giving a rifle and ride to the man who killed 4 RCMP officers in Marithorpe.
I think the systems are starting to get tired and say we need to do something about this, and I think this is a message.
In Canada, manslaughter sentences can range from probation to life in prison, depending on the severity of the crime. When a firearm is involved, a conviction carries a mandatory minimum of 4 years behind bars. A date for Okimau's hearing to determine his sentence will be set next month. Amanda Anderson, CTV News, Edmonton.
Premier Danielle Smith is defending Albertans' rights to a referendum this fall. BC and Manitoba's premiers say they have concerns about Canada's future because of Alberta. Miriam Valdez-Carletti joins us live now with more on the last day of the Western Premier Summit. Miriam, what did they say?
Well, Jeff, both premiers say that talk of separation will have a negative impact on Canada's economy. Manitoba Premier Wab Kinew says now isn't the time for uncertainty with multiple pipeline projects already in the works.
And I would say now is the time to work together. Why don't we hold off on this referendum talk for a year or two and see if we get these pipelines under construction? Because at the end of the day, we want Canada to succeed.
Smith didn't reply to his suggestion to delay the referendum. The annual Western Premiers meeting is usually focused on the economy, energy security, defense, and nation-building projects. Much of the conversation this year has surrounded separation talks. Smith says she wants her province to remain in Canada, but wants Albertans who are upset with Ottawa to have their say. BC Premier David Eby says the referendum is a huge mistake.
I remain incredibly anxious, frankly, about this. I've seen the Brexit referendum that was just supposed to be a chance for people to express the clarity that they wanted to stay part of the EU, and it did not end up that way. I've communicated those anxieties to Premier Smith. She understands them.
We're very conscious of the fact that 700,000 citizens signed one of 2 petitions wanting to have this question, and it's my job to ensure that they have hope in Canada again.
Eby says while the pair disagree, they can still have civil conversations and they have to find ways to work together. And all premiers at the meeting say now is a time for unity and certainty. Eby says he was pleased everyone at the table agreed on their language of their goals. Jeff?
All right, Miriam, thank you. Miriam Valdez-Carletti live tonight. Several new campaigns have been launched pushing the pros and cons of Alberta separation. The people behind them say it's time to focus on facts over feelings. Narman Issa reports.
But we want them really to realize the benefits of being in Alberta in Confederation.
What can we do to make Alberta stronger within Canada?
We are at an ideal opportunity for Alberta to become independent.
The debate on whether Alberta should stay or leave has proponents on both sides trying to appeal to those on the fence.
Alberta is succeeding in Canada. You know, we're the job creator of the entire country over the last 3 years. We have the highest incomes in Canada by far. Don't roll the dice and lose that.
Former Alberta MP Monty Solberg is one of the people behind the Vote to Stay campaign. It also includes former UCP Premier Jason Kenney. Solberg says they will roll out a full ad campaign over the next few months.
The vision that's being painted for them of an independent Alberta, whether it's real or not, and we want to say, I can tell you what is real, is Alberta's place leading Canada in Confederation.
Strategist Ken Bosenkool founded the Lead Not Leave campaign, focusing on policy.
A temporary think tank is another way I've described it. You know, a temporary think tank for the duration of the campaign to allow us to inject economic and other arguments into the debate.
On the pro-separatist side is the Alberta Transition Council, founded by constitutional lawyer Keith Wilson. He says they'll post a report online this summer, providing clarity on how an independent Alberta will work.
It's the idea is that they would be able to use this as a tool to answer the questions for them. So when someone says, well, what's going to happen to the Canada pension plan? You know, my pension there, how's that going to work? This document will address that.
Albertans will get their say on October 19th. Narman Issa, CTV News, Edmonton.
Volunteers are hoping the high-level streetcar can continue making trips over the river valley even once the high-level bridge is replaced. The city says the bridge is in worse condition than expected, and renewing it would cost hundreds of millions of dollars more than the original estimate. The replacement plan puts one of Edmonton's most popular historic attractions in limbo. The high-level streetcar is part tourist attraction, part public transit. For more on what the future may hold for the streetcars, we go live to Jeremy Thompson now in Old Strathcona. Jer.
Well, Jeff, as you might know, the streetcars normally run from Thursday to Monday, so tonight is a special private chartered trip going across the high-level bridge. Between the 3 streetcars that operate here across the bridge and 7 more at Fort Edmonton Park, about 250,000 people a year experience Edmonton's history through them. The volunteers with the Radial Railway Society here are hopeful, whatever happens to the bridge, there is a future for these historic streetcars. It's a distinct sound of summer near White Ave. For more than 40 years, the high-level streetcar has taken Edmontonians and tourists alike on a ride through history and across it.
It's neat from outside, inside, and the conductor telling about the history. It's just a great experience.
Some say you don't even need to board the century-old restored cars to enjoy them. This community garden along the tracks is named for the streetcars.
We see it go by here all the time, and the conductor waves, and everybody's so happy, and you know, that's a unique thing. That streetcar is very unique.
Streetcar service was introduced on the High-Level Bridge in August 1913. And that was part of the conditions of the city of Strathcona merging with the city of Edmonton.
Service stopped in 1951. Chris Ashdown's Society of Volunteers started up again in 1980 and hasn't looked back.
Highest streetcar bridge in the world, with views that you can't get anywhere else of the river valley in Edmonton.
The future of the high-level streetcar is now in limbo because the historic bridge it crosses is slated for demolition. The city says renewing the high level would cost upwards of $380 million. Monday, councillors approved a plan to build a replacement, remove historic protection, and eventually tear it down.
We're hoping to get another 15 to 20 years before something happens with the bridge.
The city's tentative timeline is to replace the high level in 10 to 15 years. The mayor thinks the new bridge should include a track for the streetcar.
You might not be able to retain the high level bridge, but that streetcar is iconic for the city. And I think the cost of that is something Edmontonians might be willing to absorb.
It's an encouraging sentiment for Ashdown, though he, along with at least one city councillor, is still hoping the high-level bridge can be saved. As I mentioned, the Radial Railway Society also operates streetcars at Fort Edmonton Park. Its members are soon going to be discussing a strategic plan for what to happen over the next decade or so. That plan, Jeff, may now have to include advocacy at City Hall.
All right, Jeremy, thank you. Edmonton homeowners can expect their 2026 property tax notices to start arriving soon. The city says they sent out 440,000 notices this week. The municipal property tax increasing by 6.9% this year. The city says the increase will impact homeowners based on their property assessment. A single detached home assessed at just under $500,000 will pay about $426 in combined property tax.
How an individual property owner experiences this year's increase will depend on how their assessment value changed compared to the overall market. If the assessment value of your home went up by more than 5.7%, you can expect to see a higher tax increase. And if your home went up in value by less than 5.7%, you can expect to see a lower tax increase.
The city says property taxes will generate more than $2.5 billion to fund services like transit, bridges, and emergency services. Payment deadline is June 30th, 2026. Builders in St. Albert could now face thousands of dollars in fines for not properly storing garbage. The city changed its rules to stop the spread of debris. As Evan Kenny explains, some say the rule changes could go further.
New homes are being built in St. Albert's north and west sides. With them comes more garbage flying in the wind. To crack down on this kind of litter, the city has changed its construction debris section of the community standards bylaw.
It was found that there were some loopholes in the bylaw.
All garbage from construction sites must now be placed in covered dumpsters. Materials must also be stored in an orderly manner within property lines.
You have wildlife that use these stormwater ponds, and then the debris is blowing in from these construction sites.
Peace officers will enforce the new rules. If broken, a builder could face a fine of $1,000 per day until the issue is resolved, or if the city has to clean up the mess, the cost could be added to the business's taxes. If the issue persists,
we even have the ability to have, if that property has a business license, we could have that revoked.
Thing, right? But like, you see.
Brett Folkaway brought his concerns to council's attention last year.
As time went on, houses would go up and garbage would continue to pour in. I can't be one-man cleanup crew for developments across St. Albert.
He now sits on the city's Environmental Advisory Committee. While he's happy to see these changes, he believes more can be done.
Things like security deposits and amending our agreements with developers to use the same sorts of tools that they use when they need to police their builders.
A motion in City Council that would have put those additional rules in place failed in April. Evan Kenny, CTV News, St. Albert.
The city is asking Edmontonians to roll up their sleeves to help with weed control this spring. Volunteers can now sign up for weed pulling events around the city. Staff will be on hand to teach you about weed identification and removal. The city says the events help control invasive species which often spread rapidly.
Edmonton has about 35 regulated invasive plant species that have been found within the city, and new species are coming in, and especially through the horticultural industry, escaping people's gardens and starting to grow in natural areas.
The city is hosting more than 50 weed pulling events. Online registration is now open. The Strathcona County Food Bank is putting out the call for a specific donation to help make birthdays special. The food bank is asking for items it can put in its birthday bags. That includes cake mix, frosting, balloons, candles, and plates. You can donate cash, individual items, or bags already put together. Anything that might be needed for the full party experience will be accepted.
It was initiated by a volunteer here, and she just recognized that there was a gap. And when people are having to make choices, sometimes they will choose to forego a birthday party so that they can keep the lights on in the house. And so it's a really fun program that people really can get behind.
The co-chair says they used to hand out about 4 or 5 bags per week. That number has now doubled. The food bank says people can also call for specific ways to help out. Student athletes from across Edmonton took part in a sports event today focused on inclusion, teamwork, and community.
We pledge to respect our coaches, teammates, and opponents.
The Metro Athletics Unified Jamboree brought thousands of students to Jasper Place today. They competed in events like basketball, bocce ball, and beanbag toss. The Unified Sports program brings students with and without intellectual disabilities together on the same team. Organizers say the event helps build friendships and a sense of belonging.
And it's an awesome way for us to really connect with others that aren't just from our school. And it gives us a great perspective on how other people live their lives.
I feel very important today, and I feel like I'm helping people, which is making me feel very grateful to be and have this opportunity here at JP.
The event included 37 schools from across Edmonton. A little cloudy today, but really warm, Josh.
Yeah, we get up to 28.6 for a daytime high. We'll round that up to 29, and we'll be in the same ballpark, it looks like, for the next couple of days, maybe even breaking 30 one of the next 2 or 3 days. It's 27 in Edmonton right now, 28 off to the northeast of the Mayo. A little breezy there outside the city, wind up around 20, 25 kilometers per hour. Hasn't been all that bad in the city. Way more cloud cover than sunshine, though, so it didn't really feel like an almost 30-degree day today. It's 9 degrees above average, though. It's 20 is the average daytime high. And that morning low of 10, that's one of the coolest mornings we'll see for a while. Morning lows are going to be in the mid-teens for the next couple of days. Seeing a little bit of sunshine breaking through the clouds now as you take a look at the shot from the CTV drone. Clouds are going to be kind of in and out over the course of the next couple of days, and every now and then you're going to see some scattered showers and thunderstorms. Today, most of that activity popped up east and southeast of the Edmonton region. You can see some splotches of green there over parts of West Edmonton. That's just some clutter on the radar. That's not real precipitation. All those thunderstorms there from Smoky Lake down through Vegreville and towards Viking and Coronation area, looks like they're going to track north and stay east of the city. So through this evening, we probably stay shower and thunderstorm free. Might see some tomorrow night, though, and again Thursday night. As far as the daytime hours, though, much like today, a mix of sun and cloud. Light wind, and again, up to about 28 or 29 tomorrow afternoon. Big changes on the way for the weekend. We'll talk about that in just a few minutes.
Thanks, Josh. Still ahead, water level worries.
I hope it doesn't become a dead lake.
Concerns one of central Alberta's most popular camping spots is slowly drying up. Also next.
They do want to travel. So what they're looking at is maybe shorter trips instead of a week, 5 days.
The changing travel trends of the current economy and how they could benefit Alberta.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
One of central Alberta's busiest camping spots has seen a significant loss of water over the past few years. Curtis Goodrum has more on the struggles of the summer village of Gull Lake.
Louise Greenhall is visiting Gull Lake for the first time in 5 years.
We were here before because it's so beautiful.
She says the lake has changed in that time.
We were kayaking in here yesterday, and we could go quite far out because it's not really very deep.
The Gull Lake Watershed Society says since 2017, the lake has gone down by more than 1 meter. The lake is now hundreds of meters away from its former shoreline. Almost all boat launches around the lake have been closed, leaving many concerned.
There's sort of a crisis of confidence.
Norval Horner has lived in the village for many years. He's also a developer in the area. Horner says he's seeing more properties around the lake for sale.
All around the lake, there are marinas that people can't use and boat launches they can't use, and beaches that you have to walk out hundreds of meters to actually go for a swim.
Everyone's concerned because the lake is dropping. The lake on average has dropped
It's on average 20 centimeters a year over the last 5 years.
Gull Lake councillor Lon Kasha says the lake level has been steadily dropping, accelerating in the last few years. The village plans to pump water into the lake. That plan has been on hold since 2017 due to an invasive fish species. While they have found a solution to that problem, Kasha says when the pump starts, it will take years to move the shoreline.
The objective was to stabilize the drop, not really to refill. You rely on nature, say, wet weather patterns.
The Summer Village hopes Alberta's oldest provincial park will one day see its old shoreline again.
I hope it doesn't become a dead lake.
In Gull Lake, Curtis Gudrum, CTV News.
Canmore is moving ahead with a new tax structure to help fund affordable housing. Town Council has approved a higher tax rate for many homes that are not primary residences. It's expected to raise nearly $4.5 million this year. That money will be spent on affordable housing measures. Median house price in Canmore is $1.2 million. Vacancy rates are low, making it difficult for the people who work in Canmore to live there. A new survey by TD shows rising gas prices may put a damper on some summer travel, which may create an opportunity for Alberta. The survey shows 1/3 of Canadians plan to spend less this summer. 44% say high fuel costs are influencing travel decisions. For Canadians who are traveling, 3/4 say they intend to stay within Canada. One travel agent says Alberta could stand to benefit.
They do want to travel. So what they're looking at is maybe shorter trips instead of a week, 5 days, maybe staying home, a domestic travel versus going international to Europe or other places.
The survey found that some Gen Z Canadians are taking a different approach. 1 in 4 say they're planning to spend more this summer. 32% say social pressures influence their spending decisions. Still ahead, Shed Talk.
And then it started to get deep, and we didn't even realize that conversations like that would actually happen.
A backyard project turned into a safe space for men to focus on their mental health.
More heat over the next couple of days, but more cloud cover as well. Not a lot of bright blue skies and sunshine over the next few days. Take a closer look at that, as well as the risk of showers and thunderstorms around the province. Right after the break.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
The New York Knicks have advanced to the NBA Finals.
Yeah, they have.
Yes, this one's for Josh.
Let's go Knicks.
With an emphatic sweep of the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Shabbat with the steal. Shabbat feeds on Anunoby with the flush.
Former Toronto Raptor OG Anunoby helping Knicks legend cruise to another big win. Superstar guard Jalen Brunson. Is he a Knicks legend too, John?
Also a Knicks legend.
Also a Knicks legend, named Series MVP. New York will now shoot for the city's first NBA title since 1973. It's their first trip to the finals in 27 years. The Knicks have now won 11 straight. They'll face either Oklahoma or the San Antonio Spurs.
It doesn't matter. They're going to be either of those teams.
Josh has been floating around the station
Knicks are on
today,
a
so
historic
happy.
run.
So I just wanted to share his joy with all of you. There you go.
It's been decades of heartbreak, let me tell you. Take a look outside right now at the Action Furnace River Valley Skycam. Action Furnace fixed right, it's free. 27 degrees in Edmonton right now. It looks a little hazy out there. A little smog kind of settling in over parts of the city. 29 for a daytime high today. Same for Cold Lake, Fort McMurray. 30, 33, 35 from Lloydminster off to the south. Whereas, we told you this was going to happen. Highs near 20 as opposed to near 30 in western parts of the province. You are going to see a warm up back into the mid-20s, it looks like, tomorrow in through that area. Here in the Edmonton region, we'll be close to 30 for each of the next 3 days. In fact, the fact that we got to 28.6 today leads me to think I may be underestimating these highs for tomorrow and Thursday. Friday could potentially be as warm as 31 or 32. This dip here does come with some rain. We said that there was going to be a big change to the weather pattern through the weekend, perhaps as early as Saturday night, almost guaranteed Sunday we get some rain, and that may linger into early Monday as well. heat warnings in effect for the areas in pink. That also includes this yellow area. It's just that you also have a severe thunderstorm watch in through that region. That watch probably gets ended here in the next couple of hours. City of Edmonton, it's going to be hot. We're not included in that heat warning, although we're right on the edge of that criteria. You can see the hottest air in the dark reds and the pink zone. That's going to stay off to the east and southeast of us, but temperatures are going to be high 20s, close to 30, and then there's Friday. You can see how Friday's probably the hottest day that we'll see over the next 2 or 3. A little bit of a cool down, back into the low 20s on Saturday. You got this big area of low pressure spinning about off to the southwest. That's drawing in these showers and thunderstorms. Really tough to pick out where exactly these little breakdowns are going to be that set off some showers and thunderstorms. Today it was just off to the east of the Edmonton region. Overall, the big story is this upper ridge, that heat in place, not only at the surface, but in the mid and upper levels of the atmosphere, particularly over Saskatchewan, parts of southeastern Alberta as well, where you're right underneath, parked right underneath the hottest air. Skies are pretty clear to go along with the heat. But on the back edge, as you get a little closer to the back edge of that ridge, you do run the chance of some occasional clouds, sporadic showers, thunderstorms. It's going to be tough over the next couple of days to pin down exactly where and when those showers and thunderstorms pop up. But I think maybe the best chance for us in the next couple of days in Edmonton will be Thursday evening, as potentially some thunderstorms roll in from the southwest. But again, as we said yesterday, each of the next few days, you have at least a chance of some hit and miss showers or thunderstorms. 13 in Slave Lake right now, but everybody else is in the 20s or 30s. Well, I guess Grand Prairie is still in the teens. It's been awfully windy. Gusts 50 to 60 kilometers per hour in east central Alberta. That'll continue for the rest of tonight. Tomorrow looks breezy as well. Here in Edmonton, light wind for the next few days, 15 degrees tomorrow morning, and up to about 28 or 29 for daytime highs tomorrow, Thursday, Friday. No heavy, steady rain, just maybe a few scattered showers or thunderstorms the next few days. But Saturday night, Sunday, and possibly into early Monday, that looks like it could be some steadier precipitation.
Thank you, Josh. A Calgary man's plans to build a new shed ended up creating a safe space. The owner says when his friends came over to see the shed, they ended up deep in conversation. CTV's Kevin Fleming explains how it inspired a mental health initiative.
Kevin Halliday's podcast is called Shed Talk. Guests are invited to share challenges they're facing and the impact it's having on their mental health. Halliday came up with the idea after he built a backyard shed and invited friends to see it.
Guys would come over and we would just sit down and talk. And we might have a cigar, and then the conversations never went about hockey. It went about fatherhood, about friends, family. And then it started to get deep, and we didn't even realize that conversations like that would actually happen.
In addition to the podcast, Halliday started a Shed Talk Men's Night, taking place here every second Wednesday.
I invited entrepreneurs, and the idea was with them is that they were able to open up about business, but a lot of them don't open about their families or their personal life.
Dennis Agbaya was at that first meeting. He tried therapy, but says it felt more like a business transaction. Shed Talk was something different.
We're talking about failures, like divorce and, cheating and all of those sort of things, like they just become real, right? And at that point, you're not ashamed. You're not scared of being judged, because you feel supported. You feel like, hey, everyone is here to support me.
Delane Bennett is a registered social worker who attends all the meetings.
Having somebody who is really trained in trauma and being able to support and help people when they're in those phases, or be able to help them follow up or get them lined up with other clinics, or mental health support is really essential.
Agbaya says it was an experience he won't soon forget.
That day I felt light at the end. I felt free at the end, being able to share what was going on in my mind. It was beautiful,
Kevin Fleming, CTV News, Calgary.
Still ahead, a Liberal loss.
I believe many others are questioning themselves, and they should stand up and leave that party if they do believe the environment is important.
A former minister planning to leave the party, and how similar departures could impact the federal government's thin majority. And
not just an incredible moment in history, but the first foothold beyond Earth for all of humanity.
NASA unveils a new plan that could lead to humans living on the moon within the next decade.
Programming brought to you by Century Casino. 3 great locations: Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile. Programming brought to you by the music of Harry Potter with your Edmonton Symphony Orchestra. Learn more at winspearcenter.com.
Former Environment and Climate Change Minister Stephen Guilbeault's time as a Liberal MP is coming to an end. Guilbeault previously resigned from cabinet, citing the government's shift on climate change policy. As CTV's Mike Lecouture reports, tomorrow Guilbeault is expected to walk away from federal politics.
Prime Minister, on Mr. Guilbeault, has he told you about his future, sir?
Prime Minister Mark Carney sidestepped questions about his former minister, who will soon become his former MP. After nearly 7 years on Parliament Hill, Stephen Guilbeault confirmed to CTV News that he is quitting politics. He's expected to make it official at the Liberal caucus meeting on Wednesday.
I really appreciate his work, his advocacy, and I'm fully respectful of his decision.
Now, last year, Guilbeault resigned from cabinet after the federal government inked a memorandum of understanding with Alberta with a plan to build a new pipeline. The further rolling back of Trudeau-era environmental policies was seemingly the breaking point.
I'm a good friend of Stephen.
Industry Minister Melanie Joly says past policies on climate change weren't perfect.
We've seen the good impacts of that policy, but we've seen also the downfalls. And we need to be able to do both. We need to make sure that we bring Albertans on board.
Guilbeault's departure comes as more than a dozen Liberal MPs wrote to the Prime Minister last month, expressing concerns over policy changes like the new industrial carbon price in Alberta.
I believe many others are questioning themselves, and they should stand up and leave that party if they do believe the environment is important.
Are you worried about losing a majority over environmental policies and some resignations?
No. The leader of the Green Party worries the Prime Minister has changed.
I don't find that there's anything left, whatever it was that I thought Mark Carney cared about relating to the climate crisis. I no longer find any traces of it in his policies.
Liberal Nate Erskine-Smith is also stepping down, while Jonathan Wilkinson has been appointed as the ambassador to the EU. The three departures will eventually trigger more by-elections, which could affect the Liberals' thin majority. Mike Lecouture, CTV News, Ottawa.
Despite a ceasefire, the U.S. launched new strikes on Iran yesterday, saying it targeted missile sites and mine-laying boats. Meanwhile, the Strait of Hormuz remains closed to critical shipping traffic.
The straits have to be open. They're going to be open one way or the other. So they need to be open. What's happening there is unlawful, it's illegal, it's unsustainable for the world, it's unacceptable.
The renewed attacks come after President Trump claimed a peace agreement was near. Iran says it downed a U.S. drone and fired at a fighter jet, stating it has the right to retaliate against any ceasefire violations. And Israel says it is intensifying its assault on Hezbollah militants in Lebanon, with 12 people reportedly killed in airstrikes overnight. There's also a ceasefire in place in that conflict, but Israel says Hezbollah continues to fire on them despite the truce. Some much-needed help is on the way for communities battling wildfires this season.
To lease 10 additional wildfire-fighting aircraft that will support our provinces and our territories in their response, and that will be available beginning this wildfire season.
The 10 aircraft include air tankers and helicopters. They'll be stationed across the country based on expected need. The government says it chose to lease the aircraft instead of buying so they could be used immediately. NASA says it is canceling plans to deploy a space station in lunar orbit. Instead, it plans to construct a $20 billion base on the moon's surface to prepare for astronauts to live and work there long term. ABC's Rena Roy reports.
America may eventually have its very own home base on the surface of the moon.
We are creating a future where exploration is not just an incredible moment in history, but the first foothold beyond Earth for all of humanity.
An update to the $20 billion project shared by NASA today will help send the building blocks of the base to the moon every 6 months, with the hope of developing a long-term settlement where people can live and work.
We envision the moon base to be
hundreds of square miles with different assets, all building up to the objective of permanent lunar presence.
NASA estimates that the plan will take place over the next 7 years in 3 phases. First, NASA and its partners will regularly send rovers and technology to test things like mobility, power, and comms. Then the work will begin on building semi-habitable areas for astronauts so that they can start to operate on the moon's surface consistently. Finally, larger habitats and vehicles will be delivered for a permanent setup. That historic Artemis II mission around the moon in April was the first manned mission since the 1970s and helped test key technology necessary for the years-long effort.
With Moonbase, Artemis astronauts will stay longer, explore farther, and conduct the kinds of science that advances exploration itself.
Now, the next crewed Artemis mission is scheduled for next year with the goal of landing humans on the moon by 2028. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
Still ahead, swapping wedding bells for keys to a new home.
So I think a lot of people are going, hey, there's a moment now that we qualify for what we want or close to what we want. We don't want to miss that moment.
Many Canadian couples are choosing mortgages over marriages due to high housing costs.
Programming brought to you by Alberta iGaming Corporation. For integrity, for fun, for Alberta.
Wednesday on your morning, they're an iconic piece of Canadiana, but you may not know that beavers live in and around Edmonton. How to spot them and how to protect your trees and your landscape.
Your Morning Edmonton, weekdays.
Taking a look at the markets, the Canadian dollar closing near 72 cents U.S. Oil was down to just under $94 a barrel. Gold saw an almost $21 drop. On the stock market, the TSX is down 177 points. The Dow Jones lost 118 on the day. The House of Commons committee is scrutinizing a Liberal bill that would impact how law enforcement can access digital evidence. Canada's Privacy Commissioner and representatives from major tech companies testified in Ottawa today about the contentious legislation. It would force tech companies like Apple and Google to update their systems to help the RCMP and Canada's spy agency CSIS access digital evidence in investigations. The federal Liberals say the system needs to keep up with increasingly advanced criminals. Critics say the changes present data collection and civil liberty concerns. Many Canadians are trading dream weddings for dream homes with high housing costs. A new survey finds many couples are scaling back celebrations or asking wedding guests for down payment money instead of traditional gifts. CTV's Spencer Turcott explains.
Forget the ice sculptures, extravagant venues, and over-the-top wedding extras. A new Royal LePage survey suggests a majority of Canadian couples are willing to skip an expensive wedding celebration to afford the keys to a home. The survey found 82% of respondents would forego or significantly scale back a wedding to put money toward a down payment, while 79% of respondents say they would consider requesting money for a down payment on a home instead of a traditional wedding gift. Jasmine Likas and her partner from Kitchener put their wedding plans on the back burner altogether.
This was an opportunity that I had where I could purchase a house, and it's like, this may delay if we want to have a wedding at some point, but this is a chance to still live together in town and really build a life together.
An average wedding can cost tens of thousands of dollars, money some couples say could be better spent on entering a competitive housing market, but one that has been more favorable for buyers lately.
So I think a lot of people are going, hey, there's a moment now that we qualify for what we want or close to what we want. We don't want to miss that moment.
Experts say young buyers are increasingly treating condos and starter homes as stepping stones, focusing less on lavish celebrations and more on building long-term equity.
In 2023, the Canadian government put in the First Home Savings Account, which is actually a really, really great account where you get the tax deduction when you put the money in. It grows tax-free.
And while homes in much of the country have become more attainable, wedding prices have not dipped. So this sort of purchase can signify a couple's commitment to each other in a different way.
This is an investment in my future, but also our future collectively as a partnership. And so it made sense for both of us.
Because these days, walking down the aisle has just as much value as walking through the front door of a first home. Spencer Turcott, CTV News, Kitchener.
Red Deer is bringing back a trout fishing tradition. For the first time in 20 years, a scene like this will happen at Bower Ponds next month. With support from the city, Red Deer Fish and Game will stock the pond with rainbow trout. After the Red Deer River flooded in 2006, predatory fish like northern pike entered the pond and essentially wiped out the trout. Some rule changes will allow the fishery to restart.
The hatcheries are all certified disease-free, and then they sterilize their fish. So the rainbow trout are natural to the Red Deer River, but if these get out, they won't spread any disease, nor can they breed with the native population.
The plan is to introduce about 300 trout next Friday. Grade 6 students will be recruited to help with another 1,100 next month. Still ahead, a tiny device creating big buzz.
The project is called Bluetooth for Bees. We are radio tracking bumblebee queens.
New research tracking the movements of bees and how anyone in the area with an iPhone can help out.
We've got another great night of entertainment coming up right here on CTV. Programming brought to you by Green Tree Outdoor Living, where your dream yard becomes a reality.
Canadian researchers are hoping to learn more about the behavior of bees using Bluetooth. The University of Guelph study will compare bees raised in captivity to ones found in the wild. As CTV's Alexandra Hollick explains, anyone in the area with an iPhone can participate.
She's flying like that. Now she's saying hello to you.
Blink and you just might miss it. A tiny bumblebee wearing an even tinier tracking device.
The project is called Bluetooth for Bees. We are radio tracking bumblebee queens.
The project is run by researchers at the University of Guelph. Trackers were glued onto 50 bumblebees, 30 found in the wild and 20 raised in captivity, to monitor their behavior and flight patterns.
We're hoping to see some patterns of behavior and see if it's different between wild and captive ones.
The tracker is lightweight and doesn't impact the bee's ability to fly. It's powered by a small solar panel and transmits signals using a Bluetooth connection.
The tag worked like an air tag, so only with iPhones, sadly, right now, but eventually maybe with all phones.
Here's where you come in. When you visit the Arboretum, take out your iPhone and turn on your Bluetooth. That's it. The busy bees and the researchers at the University of Guelph will take care of the rest.
We're not using any of your data or privacy, but we basically get another way of collecting data about where these tagged bees are.
I think this first one here is actually a bee in the field behind me, so you can see the detection is like signal strength is lower because she's somewhere in the field flying around.
Graduate student Marianne Goulet is taking the tracker for a test run. She plans to use it for her master's project on monarch butterflies in the fall.
We're going to track them while they migrate and see how they orient, if they can reach Mexico, and yeah, it's going to be cool.
In the meantime, researchers say the work they're doing now will hopefully help conservation efforts in the future.
We really need to understand why they're declining and do things the best we can to support them. And this work, understanding how bees move and how much they move between generations, is really important to understand how population demography works for these bees.
Alexandra Hollick, CTV News, Guelph.
Some thunderstorms off to the east and southeast of the Edmonton area through this evening. I think we'll stay dry here in the city. Tomorrow, mix of sun and cloud, another hot one up to about 28 or 29. Just a slight chance of a spotty shower. For most of the day, should be a mix of sun and cloud. 28 Thursday, chance of some thunderstorms Thursday evening. Best chance for rain is going to be Sunday. Could start as early as Saturday night. Could linger into Monday morning. The timing on that still a little up in the air, but Sunday looks cooler and probably some steady rain as opposed to just scattered showers.
All right. Thank you, Josh. And thank you very much for sharing your time with us. For news anytime, check out our website, ctvnewsedmonton.ca. Have a great evening. Go Knicks.